Sauce. So if you don't got no sauce, then you're lost.
What's up, everybody? We're here to talk about the YouTuber call-out challenge. I'm here with my buddy Isaac and Ron. We're just gonna be talking about the overall rules, regulations, and who's gonna be participating, and just your guys' thoughts. Give us an idea what you guys think about what's going on. I mean, I know it's like a little bit of stuff that's been tossed around between all of us, and we've been talking a lot about it from a lot of us, like Pablo from SB Tuning, Young Static, Hunter Tuned. We're trying to see if we could also collab with other YouTubers down in Florida, where the event's most likely going to be held. But for right now, we're going to talk about the rules and give a little input about why we came up with the rules and what we think about them, and maybe a little bit more stuff. So let's get started.
Well, first I'll just go over what the rules are now, and then we'll talk about a little more about what we think the rules should be. That way we can get all the politics out of the way and all that stuff. But first, I'm just going to go ahead and read the rules off. It's going to be a $2K budget. For right now, they're saying it's $2K total for the budget. Shell to be listed at purchase price, or if free, Shell is used a minimum of $100 to be deducted from budget. So
that's if it's used, like if it's given to you, or if the shell is free, if you got it off of a trade or anything like that. If you have like kind of no money into that car, that's like an automatic deduction, like $100 deduction from the budget. I mean, it's nothing big, just a little small something that you got to include in your budget.
Next part of the rules: free parts or lying around the house, which are used to be calculated as half of retail price. For example, a used turbo that is lying around that sells online for $1,000, and this scenario would be $500 deducted from your budget.
Yes, and also, if you did after the fact of all the set things that you're going to be using that you have personally, if you use all that and you deduct that, any parts that you buy brand new is going to be retail price. That is the full price of it that you got to include into the budget. If it is brand new and is something that you need in your build, you have to incorporate that for the full price into the budget. So
this is random, but no nitromethane. So we can't use funny car fuel in our cars. So
yeah.
No.
So this comes from Pablo from SB Tuning, because in Florida it is extremely popular to run nitromethane, and we just, you know, it's something little, just for nobody to run nitromethane, because it's a bit of a popular thing down there in Florida. So
budget does not include prices of fluids. So radiator fluid, or coolant, oil, you know, transmission fluid, none of that is to be calculated into your budget. Also, tuning, fab, labor, machining not included in price of the budget. So you don't have to include any fabbing, any machining, anything to be done, any labor, anything like that is not to be included.
And I just want to stop right there. We are all going to give 100% of the price that we have all put into it, like all the machining, but we're not going to include that. But it is going to be a thing that we might all agree on at the end of the day to include in our channels to find out what actually we all paid. It's not going to be very much off of the $2,000 budget, because we're all doing the work ourselves. We're all fabbing everything. I mean, if you want the machine work and you want to do everything that you can, that is on your own thing, and it's not going to be included into the budget.
Wheel tire setup is also to be included in the budget.
Yes, I mean, that's pretty common sense. I mean, if you wanted like nitrous on it, it's the same thing. You want like a radial tire. That's your own personal opinion. If you think it's gonna hook better than a slick, I mean, it's most likely not, but that's your own opinion. That's if you have something laying around, or if you go out and buy that. It's anybody's game, you know. Your own opinion. So, you know, that'll be definitely included into the budget.
Also, what me, Young Static, what we believe should, and Jeremy too thinks this would be more fair. Regardless, we're going to do the challenge. We're going to have fun, and it's It's going to be awesome, regardless. But something that's just a change to the rules and we think would be more fair, and it'd be up to the channels to be more diverse and try different things, is if we were to all have a stock B18, B1, or A1. And I'm saying stock from valve cover to oil pan, the full, just stock long block. That's the only regulation. Everything else goes. You can use whatever chassis you want, as long as it's a Honda. Maybe no tube chassis, but as long as it's a Honda and it's a stock long block. That's the only rule. That way it's more diverse to the fact that some people are going to use turbos, some people are going to use nitrous. There's going to be so many different setups, and it's going to be a lot more competitive, and I think it would be a lot fairer that way. That way we're not worrying about budget or anything of that. There's no politics. There's no fighting over anything, no arguing over anything, who won, this, that. It's a stock long block. If there's any question in the mile an hour after the race is done, I mean, out of all of us, we could pull a B18 apart in probably a few minutes. So we can find out that answer quite quick.
But it makes it a little more fair, I think, for everybody to have equal chance, because if you did want, and if you did say you had more than $2,000, and say you put more than $2,000 into that stock long block, there's only so much power you could get out of a stock long block before it's going to give. So you can't have the whole car be $10,000 and make it run like so much more than a $2,000 car would be, because you're limited on the fact that it is a stock block. And we think it's fair for everybody because there's only so much you could do with it, and this is a thing that we just want everybody to have fun with. We want everybody to be creative. We want everybody to modify the cars, not just the motors, and we want to see what everybody is going to come up with. And we think that that's a really fair and a fun thing to do, and it's not going to be as much money, because given the fact that it is still a stock long block, and that's the limiting factor of, if you could go over 300 horsepower, because around there is, you're pushing it, and you risk blowing out the motor, and you'll probably be out of the competition if you go over that, and you have nothing to show up with. You don't have a car. Yeah. So I mean, that's our ideas. That's what we originally came up with, but we wanted everybody's participation. We want everybody's input, and the idea of everybody doing the 2K budget build, 80% of everybody is all for it, and we're all for it. We honestly, we just want everybody's participation. We want everybody to have fun, but we want you guys to give us your opinion on if you think our idea is good, or if you want to roll with the $2,000 budget that is tossed around right now. It's something that everybody's agreeing with right now, and I think it's great. I mean, if everybody agrees with that, we'll roll with it. If not, it is what it is, and but we just want to have fun with it. We hope that you guys give us your honest opinion, because we're not gonna, this challenge would be nothing without you guys watching. We want to please you guys. We want everything to go smooth, and we want just everybody to have fun. So you guys let us know, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
I didn't say anything, but have a good one.
Alright, another thing, if you guys want to see the rules on the 2K budget build challenge, we'll put them in the description. If you want to hear the rules that are going to be for the B18 stock long block build, we'll put both lists of rules in the description, so you guys can read them, because that's exactly what we're going off of. That is exactly the rules that we put in the group chat, and we've been discussing. So we'll put them down in the description and have you guys read them yourselves.